his job was to assign me. I said, holy shit, I said, you're going to take good care of a guy from Boston, aren't you? He said, well, I'll see what I can do for you. He assigned the two of us to Yokohama.
Oh.
Oh, I spent a year in Yokohama. And I was in a supply depot, engineer depot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all the Japs working for me. Wouldn't speak good English, he passed the orders on. And he, whether he was stealing or not, I never knew, because they did a lot of stealing there. They got a lot of Army guys stealing. I'd give him the assignments for the days, and I just disappeared. I'd come back in the evening and take him back in, and we'd check off. And I had every night off. I used to be able to go out any night I wanted. And twice I was hospitalized. I was shaving one day and they kept hearing a clicking. They had to put me in the hospital. Had electric laser and shrapnel was coming out of my skin.
Wow.
It works out. See, I got some right here. They told me, forget that. It would come out by itself. It never did. There's 2 or 3 pieces there. It supposedly just pushes out by itself. Never did. And then when I had to get x-rays for something else, my end of my spine was loaded with dirt and shrapnel.
Wow.
And they said, forget it, it'll come out by itself. It's still there. Since I've been out, I've had 6 hip replacements.
Wow.
And I used to always complain, why ain't I getting a disability for it? They said, well, that's nothing to do with the service. That's like a disease. So I got on the police. I never told them about my back, and they asked me about my legs and my arms. And another time I said to me, when they ask you about it, say it doesn't hurt. Don't tell them nothing. And so they accepted me, the police. And I had to go through a lot of gym stuff over in Cambridge. A lot of things were bothering me, but I knew enough to say nothing. And the most important thing was the last thing, to swim. You had to make the swim. I could just barely make it. And we had the track, the oval track. I just barely made it. I fell. My left leg caved in. I kept tumbling. I got right up and kept going, and I did it with like 2 seconds to spare. And the guy that knew my history didn't say nothing. He said, good, you passed everything. And that was about the end. You know, I think maybe I've seen 2 guys that I was in the service with in Korea all this time.
Oh.
And a lot of them were from Massachusetts. Oh, in fact, there was 5 or 6. I went to a couple of weddings in Worcester. Guys that we all went to Korea together.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got shot. There's no going there without getting something. And it was, you really never thought of getting wounded or getting hurt. You figured it's not me. I'm invincible.
Invincible.
And you took chances. You walked up in the, you weren't supposed to be up above that trench you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you climbed up the trench so you could see better down the hill. Everything was looking down at them. And, you knew that somewhere down there they were looking up at us, but they wouldn't want to shoot and give their position away because half dozen guns would be shooting at them. But in the early evening and the nighttime, lights would come on, fireworks would go off and everything, and then they'd try attacking the hill. But we were always ready for it. We could fight them without even exposing ourselves. We could throw hand grenades over the trench top. We knew just where we were going to heave them. And every once in a while you pop your head up and look, get your field of fire, and empty that gun, bring it back down, we'll reload. And guys that were rotating and had extra guns and ammunition, they left everything with us. And we just used it up. Oh, I lost my bulletproof vest. Everybody was supposed to have one online. My Mickey Mouse boots, and my winter coat. And every week they have an inspection of it. And when they come to me, I either disappeared, or I told them, oh, it's over there or something, or I see somebody else's stuff laying down. Because I didn't, they would have taken me offline, sent me back till I got all that stuff. Then I'd have to come back and make that time up. Frig this, I'm here, I'm staying. You know, I was getting acclimated to the cold weather. I never really, my toes got cold a few times. That's the only thing I remember. Still had nice warm gloves. We ducked in and out of, we had these deep holes dug in the side of the mountains. I don't know how the hell they dug them. They were all there when we got there. And you weren't supposed to, at night it was 24-hour alert, no sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So there'd be two guys on the machine gun. One guy goes down the hole, warms up, take a nap. And the other guy, when he gets tired, he wakes you up, and you come up, take over the machine gun. Things were pretty comfortable for a while, until they got me in the daytime. All times they get hit. You don't expect any fighting in the daytime. In fact, I was writing a letter home. A piece of shrapnel went right through the letter and right through my packs of cigarettes. The biggest relief was when that kid reassigned us to Yokohama. That was beautiful.
Like that.
Oh, 9 months I was there. I almost re-enlisted. It was so good. Had a Jap girlfriend. And we had a little house. Everybody was happy there. There was a million motor scooters around. The guys all buy their motor scooters. You had to go anywhere. You just requested cheap, and they sent. You couldn't drive nothing. The Japs were all driving everything. They'd take it all over the place. It was good. I was supposed to get a stripe when I was in the hospital. When you get wounded, they give you a Purple Heart, and they give you a stripe no matter what rank you're at. I was a private, and I didn't get it, but I did end up getting out of there as a corporal. I should have been a buck sergeant. Didn't make any difference except the money. But when I come home, guys that I knew all my life want to know where I was. They thought I went away on a vacation or a job somewhere. Didn't even know where I was.
No.
That's what Korea was like.
Actually,
a lot of people didn't even know what it was.
I have a question about that right here. It's, do you feel that the Korean War is the forgotten war?
Definitely.
Why? Other than,
I don't know. It was right after World War II, and then.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
And then what came after Korea? The jungles.
Oh, Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam came right afterwards. In between, everybody forgot Korea. They say, where were you? Korea, where's that? And that's when MacArthur and Truman were arguing whether to keep going or to stop. We should have kept going because we could have just overrun them.
So who do you think was right in that, of that argument between MacArthur?
MacArthur, I think.
MacArthur was right?
MacArthur was right. Look at Korea. North Korea now is a big power with their own atomic bombs. Can't be trusted. South Koreans were nice people.
We hear a lot about the Incheon landing. Can you tell anything about that? Were you...
Well, that was before I got there. But we went through like a mini intern when we disembarked the boat on town sites. That was just like, all our gear was strapped on us. And we're coming down these nets. We never went down them before. Guys were falling in the water and everything. And we were told that this is just like when they invaded. It was easy to believe. The rifles, everything was just hanging off you.
Was it demoralizing knowing that you were facing hordes of the Chinese soldiers? So many hundreds of thousands?
No, what it was when I got there, the guys were telling us our outpost was facing the Chinese. All our fighting was going to be with Chinese soldiers. But they're all the same to me. They all look the same. You couldn't tell. The only friendly people you knew were the ones that worked with us. They were like general labor. Send them up the line, they do the digging, they did everything. And they did all the manual labor. And they were all nice people, and they loved our food. So we always bring them something to eat. Because we had to go down a steep hill to eat. We had to hold ropes and slide down. And we had to hold the ropes to get back up. We used to bring a lot of food back up to us for them. A lot of food was wasted. And once a week you'd go down there and a great big tent, set up and take a hot shower. It was nice. Now I go around looking, where's my bag? Where's my gear? So the whole time I was there, I never got it.
Never? They didn't even send
when I was in the hospital, they said, we got to see your boots, your bulletproof jacket. There was something else. Because they wanted to see how it stood up. And I said, my excuse was, I left everything there because they were short-handed, they needed it. So I left my vest and I left my Mickey Mouse boots. There was something else I left. Oh, my big packer. So I left it for somebody that needed it. So they accepted it. They should have questioned it a little better. Because out of all of us that got off that boat and landed, I was the only one that lost my bag. My duffel bag loaded with all with my own underwear and all that. I had nothing. I'm going around digging through bags and everything. I can't find mine. Finally, we got to leave. So all I got is my weapons and clothes on my back. Oh, don't worry, we'll catch up. They did. And then they just started getting me things. They had to get me underwear. Well, when you took a shower, they had all clean stuff. They kept questioning me. Well, did your bulletproof vest have any rips in it, any holes? I saw there was some tears on it. I don't think anything went through it. My Mickey Mouse boots, I said, the left one was all torn up on the side. Not good. They didn't seem to, they just questioned you on it, and that's it, they didn't question it. Like, I think it must have happened to a lot of guys. And once you get up there, you didn't want to turn around and go back. Because you got to make that time up. Geez, you're up there already. And you found that you can, all the guys from Boston area could stand the cold a little better than the others.
Can you explain to us what you thought you were fighting for, and if you think your efforts were worth it?
Well, I was never sure what I was fighting for, except that I was drafted and told I had to go. I didn't feel like I was protecting anybody, protecting myself and my buddies, that's all. And, it seemed like a give and take thing. We'd be on the hill for a couple of weeks, and they'd come up and take over the hill. A couple of weeks later, we'd come back, we go up the hill and take off. Nothing seemed to be, we weren't making any headway. Then the next thing, we're listening to the news every day about the peace talks. That was the only thing we was really interested in, how that was done. And I was long gone. I was in Japan. In fact, I was in an area where they stored up the signs that they were going to put along the demoralized zone there, the zone that was going to be the no trespassing and all that. Well, my area was getting them ready and shipping them over to Korea. I remember seeing it on the news. It showed them all along, and we just sent them over. It didn't mean anything. It was just a sign. I felt like I did something then. We had a lot of guys stealing big stuff and selling it. They get great big money. And every payday there was like Vegas. There was gambling everywhere you looked. There were card games, dice games. And then when your time gets close to come home, they start trying to recruit you to re-enlist. I almost re-enlisted. I loved it in Japan. It was a beautiful place. They couldn't promise me I'd stay there. And I said, maybe if you promised I'd stay here, I would re-enlist. Because you can re-enlist and say, okay, Korea.
Yep.
Even if it was peacetime over there.
Now, you were talking about the cold earlier, and how cold it was over there. How cold did it get?
Oh, it'd be below zero sometimes. I just didn't seem to really get affected. Like 2 or 3 in the morning, you're supposed to be wide awake watching down that hill. That's when you freeze, but you don't even budge.
Yep.
You're scared you move, you'll see it. And then you start shivering. And you gotta slide back in that hole and warm up a little. I don't know why, the hole always seemed to be a little warmer than outside.
How long were you there the whole time in Korea?
I landed there in October. And January 13th, 1953, I was on the plane out on the stretcher. I don't know the exact date I got there. I was there for the holidays. Holidays didn't mean much to us.
Just another day.
Yeah, the North Koreans always played our music. They'd have Christmas carols going every night. And they'd be telling you, wouldn't you like to be home around the mistletoe and all that? It was like a little joke. And sometimes it was interesting just to listen to it. Apparently they had people, fans that were in America, so they knew what to play and they talked good English. We couldn't play Korean music back to them. We didn't know what the hell it was. But it was so long ago. Time flies.
It does. Last question I have on my sheet is, did you see any racism between our troops, the North Koreans, and the Chinese?
No, not really. It was hard to tell all the, we call them slant eyes. It's hard to tell who was who. And the ones that work with us, they're all friendly. A lot of them spoke good English. Picked it up from the GIs. And they'd make swaps with you. They want certain things you have. They never stole anything. Japan, you wanted to get anything made, you wanted to ship stuff home. The carpenter shops, they could make anything you wanted and ship stuff home for you, wrap it up good. The only thing time you see any anger is some guy, every time the young Japanese were mad at the GIs going with the grills. But most of them were making money, so they're all pimping. And if you go into Tokyo or Yokohama, everything was Americanized. Great big cheeseburgers. I had a steady girl for a while. She used to take me to Japanese restaurants, raw fish and stuff. I couldn't eat that. I didn't like fish anyway. They loved it. And then their breath would stink. They use this hot stuff. Every Saturday, Sunday I was off, I'd go into Yokohama. I'd bring 2 or 3 cartons of cigarettes with me. I'd pay for my room, my meals, everything. Just give it to, we called it the mama sauce. She ran the hotel. It was like a honeymoon every weekend. Great big tubs. You don't wash in them. You just get in them and soak. Then you get out and the girl washes you all over, sponges you off. Then you get back in the water. Just stay in there and relax. And then I did a lot of sightseeing with it too, up in the mountains. I went to a lot of famous Japanese resort areas. And there wasn't many Americans there. A lot of Japs didn't like us up there. But then one time, she brings me to this big thing full of water. Everybody gets undressed and goes in. It's a great big, it's like a pool. And you just go in there and you soak. But nobody got any clothes. I couldn't believe it. It takes you a while, you know. It's so strange. Mm-hmm. That's the way they live. They'd be in there with their kids, the whole family. And when they seen an American coming, they'd all be staring at you. When you called me yesterday, my son-in-law and his father just arrived, so they were re-bricking my front steps. Mm-hmm. And I was all tied up with them. I watched that game last night. I had to get up early this morning and go to the VA because I wanted to get this as a lightweight walker. My right hip's bothering me.
Geez, you're not going to have another hip replacement, are you?
Oh, that's it. I'll just tell them forget it. I'll die with it. But when I had this, I had to get this one done because it was hurting so much. I'd fallen a few times. And I landed right on the socket. And I think I crumbled it up a little. And I think I got like a bursitis in there. Next Monday I'm going to my regular doctor. And he'll inject some more stuff in there and help us. 6 hips I had done, and this is the worst it's ever felt. And then I had a back operation. And the doctor told me about all the dirt, the foreign soil, and the shrapnel. And I said, did you clean it out? He said, no, we don't touch that. It's all covered with membrane. I said, well, could you blame that? Could you help me get more disability with that? And they all said no, even on the hips. So, 2 years ago, I was in town, Boston, and I filled out a lot of questionnaires and did some paperwork, and I ended up getting 100%. I was getting 30. I I got 100%. I got about $28,000 cash check. The sooner you put in for it, they start clocking you there. And they get $4,500 a month now. And I should have been getting it since 1953.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I was getting 30% after I got out. And most of it I was paying for my GI insurance. I got about $80,000 in GI insurance. I just keep paying and paying. I forget about it. So when I kick the bucket, the kids will have a nice slip of cash. And they'll have my house. Then I'll be happy. But when you get wounded and you're laying up there, you think, this is it. I'm going to die in this shithole. Then when they started moving me around, I started to feel a little better. I said, gee, they're going to get me out of here. And then they got the stretcher over my head. I got pain, pain. So what the hell is that? They're shooting at you. The kid who was on the back was from Revere. I said, get me the hell out of here. I'll crawl. I'll crawl the rest of the way. Oh, no. He jumped up above and was holding the stretcher. I said, get the hell down. He'll kill you. No, he wouldn't let go. And they were trying to run, and it was tough. Because they had to go around big boulders and things, so nothing was straight. Sometimes the stretcher had to be tipped. It had to be tied in it so it wouldn't fall out. I kept saying, I know I could crawl back with my good leg pushing me. It wouldn't let me. I was bleeding too much. That's what it was. They were in a hurry to get me back where they could do better first aid. All I could hear them ping, ping, the rifle fire. And we were too far for them to be accurate, I guess, because luckily nobody got hit. And then going down, we had a steep hill to go down. It was always frozen. When you was able to walk and everything, you took a piece of cardboard or anything and you slid down. Then when you're coming up there, ropes to pull yourself up. And they just put the ropes on the stretcher and let me slide down. I knew it was over then. I said to myself, I ain't never coming back up this hill. I've just seen maybe a couple of guys from the North Shore that I was in the service with. I've seen a lot of guys from Worcester. We all went to basic training and everything together. And we kept in touch. We went to each other's weddings. I don't even know if they're alive now. I don't hear no more from them. Things just keep going along. You can't stop time. You can't stop what's going to happen. And you do get scared. You keep reaching around, feeling for your guns. Make sure you got your gun, your rifle. A lot of guys had 45s. I was the next one to get one, being on a machine gun. You got to wait till the guy rotates home, and he turns the gun, the 45 over to me. Well, I went home before him. I was with a big black kid. He said, don't put your head up, just put your hand up there and move that. It only can fire in certain directions. It was wired in. And all you had to do was transfer it. Keep pulling the trigger. When it jams up, pull it back, unjam it, put a new belt in it. He said, next day you can look down the hill and see how many you got. But they just keep coming. They come in the hundreds. They just keep crawling over each other. Another time, somehow they got into the foxhole, and my gun's facing that way, and they're coming this way. Now I gotta pick the thing off the tripod and everything, and I just slammed it in the ground, and as they're coming at me, I just kept piling them up. I don't know if they were dead or not, but I just kept pulling that trigger. And then I had to slow down because the gun was getting too hot, and I had to kind of hand feed it so they wouldn't jam up. Because they were determined that night they were going to overrun us. And they almost did, but they couldn't. And I heard right after that, when I got hurt, like a week or two later, they did overrun the hill.
Wow.
It was like a game. Every month, somebody else would occupy the hill. And in the meantime, a lot of people get killed. There was no friendly takeover. It was screaming and hollering and throwing hand grenades, throwing rocks, throwing anything. Throwing empty guns at them, empty rifles. We had bayonets set up so if they got past a certain line, they'd run right into the bayonet. And the next day, the daytime usually, you start cleaning up and just throw them over. They roll down the hill, and then their own people would be down there getting them. We let them
Pick the
bodies up. We didn't want nothing to do with it. You had to bury them, see if they're alive, try and get information. If you did have one in your hands that was alive, you'd hang on to them. Most of them were dead. And all their buddies were down there waiting to haul them away. We never shot at them. We let them. We just let them come out and grab them. It was like a little ritual. But after that, it was good living when I went to Japan. Almost re-enlisted.
Now, what'd you do when you came home? You said you joined the police?
Oh, how did I go in the police? I did a lot of construction work. I kept getting laid off, that's what it was. And the police job kept looking better and better. They were looking for a lot of guys at the time. So I took the exam. The first time I didn't make it. I didn't really study. I didn't think nothing of it. Another exam came up. Some friends of mine were taking it, so we were studying together. So I took it, and they got on. I almost likened it to going in the service, with the basic training and all that, the schooling we had to go through, and then I went to Charlestown. I used to walk with an old timer to different beats. They put you on with a guy walking with him. Then they put you in a car with somebody. It's just learning a new life all over again. And Charlestown was nice. They were killing each other left and right over there. Right in the city square, there was always gang wars. You'd be in the station, you hear banging, you look out the window, they're shooting at each other. That was the beginning of Whitey Bulger and them. It was part of the gangs. Then after a while, you started meeting these guys. Some weren't bad, but you know, they were killers. A lot of nights you'd be in the station, you had to sit by the cell and guard them in case somebody would try to break in and shoot them. They were scared. And then you get to know them all. You know who the bad ones were. One you couldn't trust, turn your back on him, he'd shoot you. It turned out a lot of nice people were living in Charleston. The worst I seen when I went to Southie, the busing started, people with me. You think it was our fault? In fact, I was in Southie High on the second floor in the corridor. When they change classes, we gotta stay there and make sure they don't start fighting. Next thing I see a gang coming right at me. A black kid stabbed a white kid right in the belly. Right near the principal's office. And then they come out where I was. And everybody's hollering. Whitey stabbed Frankie. Whitey was the black kid. I don't know who the hell. He comes out and he got a great big switchblade with blood dripping. He's standing, he's shaking like hell. And his buddy's there with those nunchucks, and he's got them going. And it's me, and all the school kids are all around watching me. I didn't want to shoot him. I kept telling him to drop the knife. He was so scared he couldn't talk. And I just kept moving towards him slowly. Drop the knife, drop the knife. He wouldn't drop it. And I just had my hand on the gun. I didn't have it out. I was scared if I took it out, I might shoot him. Finally, I got right up to him, almost face to face, and I reached down, grabbed his wrist, took the knife out, and he kind of relaxed. And the school kids took care of the one that had the nunchucks there, the things. They grabbed him. Next thing, a lot of help started pouring into the school. And we had to go out a side door because the front of the school was exploded. People were going crazy. And we went out a side door and went right up the courthouse. And they had a quick hearing there. Took him away, took two of them away. Then I had to go back to the station and face the FBI. They asked me millions and millions of questions. And the captain was there. I said, if you leave the room, I'm leaving with you. I'm not staying here alone with him. He said, just relax, tell them the truth. Stayed there with me. They were starting to go out, almost like putting words in my mouth. I started forgetting what happened to me. Kept changing things on me. Kept changing the situation. What they were doing was just testing me to make sure I was, repeating the same thing. It seems like every other week I was in court. And finally, the kid only got a couple of years. And the other guy that got stabbed in the belly, he's still alive, but he was never right again. And then his father died and he was broken-hearted about it. And as far as I know, that kid still lives over something. I bumped into him a few times. He was working different jobs. I'd be going in somewhere, that spot. And I still got the knife at home that stabbed him. He didn't want it all covered with blood. I don't know if I threw it away or not. I had my testimony and everything all wrapped around it. They reach way back and get you when they want to go to court. Last year they picked me up at the house and took me in town for three guys that held up a drugstore on Rock Street. They shot the owner and his two nephews, killed them. And my partner and I were coming up the street, and the cruiser responding, and we seen them going the other way in a car. And there was a description of the car that they had given. We knew them when we seen them. So we didn't turn around and chase them. We knew they took a left in the project. We knew just where they were going. We went up to this drugstore, checked when who gave the description, and said, "Come on, we know where they are." And we picked them up. Geez, a lot of years went by. And one guy was trying to get early release. And I was the only one alive to remember what happened. So they picked me up the house, drove me into court. And all he said to me, I was sitting in the stand, "You look around the room, and you see that man in this room?" I'm looking right at him. I couldn't miss him. He had shackles on his feet. But I knew him. I knew him by sight. Don't take any pictures of me off there with my red hat. We both made All-American Commanders. I did a long time ago. He just made it last fall. It's a big honor. You get, like, you have to get 100% membership plus another 30% above it. It's not easy to get that extra.
Well, how do you get 100% membership of what?
Well, say there's 500 members of the post. You got to re-sign all them the following year, the year you commander. And then they want 8 or 9% above that. So that means you got to go and get new guys. It's not that easy to do. I was commander 5 times here. And the 5th time I finally made it. Twice I was close. And he got it last year. I think next month he's going on a free trip to wherever the convention is. Oh, Florida. They give him a room, transportation. He's going to go to a lot of banquets. Good time. If I went, I'd be traveling with him because as a past All-American, I get invited to all the same things. You go and you see some good shows.
Now, how often do you come down here? Because he just grabbed my membership. I figure I'd love to come down here.
I used to be here all the time. We used to have more fights down here. We had a lot of trouble down here. We have young kids coming in drinking, and we had no business. We let them in. They were throwing chairs around, and we start picking them up, throwing them out. It's not like that now. It's mostly older guys. A lot of blacks come in here now. We do. No blacks used to come in before. Every time it seems like things are looking better, we're making money, then all of a sudden we're broke. We go downhill. This place been here a long time. I remember when it was built, the different mistakes. We look back and see things we should have done differently. I'm surprised it's still going here. At one time this land was worth $300,000 or $400,000. We should have got rid of it. Moved over there to the hospital grounds. Now that's all housing over there. It's a big expense to run one of these. Electricity, heat. You gotta have a bartender crew, and you gotta keep an eye on them. There's a lot of steel.
Every service industry is like that.
Yeah.
Every time you have a bar, people steal.
Now, does this mean you're like staying in, or?
I did 5 years from 1999 to 2004. I went over to Iraq for 9 months, and I got out. I did the rest of my 3 years of inactive reserve, and I've been going to college. I'm going to work for Raytheon, building the Patriot missile system.
Oh, yeah?
It's actually funny, the first day of the war, we were down in Kuwait, and they had Patriot missile batteries protecting our living quarters and our flight line, and the Iraqis launched medium-range missiles at us, and the Patriots went up and intercepted the missiles they launched at us. If it wasn't for those things, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, you got them right in the air?
Yep. So now I work on the same thing.
That must have been something to see.
It was something to see. It's funny, you know, they had a whole loudspeaker set up around the base, and whenever they ran drills over and over, you know, you put on your gas mask, all your gear and everything, get down into the hole in case they're shooting, you know, they're running the drills. They'd wake us up in the middle of the night doing this stuff, and there'd someone would be on the loudspeaker announcing what the code was. They'd say code red or code black. Code black means you had to get all your chem gear on. Well, the time when those they actually fired the missiles at us, the girl that was on the loudspeaker, you could hear her crying. When she's announcing the thing, she's so scared. That's when we figured out, oh wow, you know, this one's different. Right after that, we launched, as a crew chief, helicopter crew chief, we launched all our helicopters, right? Every single one that we had, we launched them right afterwards.
Well, no, when I was in Korea, 9 months was out of time. Supposedly, that's how long you had to stay. And the guys who were getting close to that 9 months, they were scared. They didn't want to go patrols or nothing. Mm-hmm. I lived this long, I don't want to get shot at the last minute. That's all you heard when you first got there. The guys were getting ready to go home. And they'd go out on a patrol with you. And they wouldn't let you go in front. They wanted to be in the front because they didn't want to get ambushed. And they were, you know, smarter.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, everybody's up there. You hide behind bushes and trees because you hear something. Sometimes the other patrol comes right by you. Either you make your mind up, you're going to shoot them or let them go. Because they'll go right by you. And you wait a while, then they come back, and they're going back. You figure they must do the same with us. But if you confronted somebody, the guns would just go off. I don't think half the guys knew where they were shooting. They were just pulling that trigger. That was a little scary. You're going to get shot in the back. But after you're there a while, you know everybody by name. They call our names. Guys respond to you. If you don't know the names or something, you're hollering. They don't know how you're hollering about. Every time somebody gets shot, I have my size jacket. And Gooks would get it before me. Because once you got wounded and went offline, you didn't need all that stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you weren't coming back. Although one guy, when I was in the hospital that was with me, the time I got wounded, he got shrapnel in the knee. And one morning I see him all dressed up. I said, "Where are you going?" "I'm going back." He said, I said, "You kidding me? I thought you were done." He said, "Oh no, I'm going back." He sent him back. I couldn't believe it. Oh, I just see 4 of my numbers come out of the keynote. It just became a way of life. You went to bed, you get up. You never thought about getting shot at. And at nighttime was a scary time. And somebody always coming through the trench, checking everybody. And you got to check him. You got to make sure it's not one of them. Because they jump down in the hole and walk like they belong. They were brazen. I think somebody was behind them with a gun making them do it. Because they'd get scared shit when we caught them. Of course, usually that meant death on sight. Unless you knew you had somebody important, you were going to fight around and shoot them and throw them down the hill.
Roll down to it.
That was all steep hills. You could hear them rolling down. Oh, he lost a lot of weight.
Just get back? Showed me his
No,
vest.
Huh?
He showed me his vest.
What?
His vest?
Oh, yeah. No, he's, since he got his new rank, he's in charge of some outfit down in Texas. I think he has to keep going back and forth.
Oh.
In the Army, they weren't as strict and as mean as the Marines. We had master sergeants and everything. They were more like fathers. Not like he puts on to be. I know his wife ain't happy staying in.
Bet not. Most of the women usually aren't.
Well, she says he has nightmares and everything. You do have them, but after a while you kind of incorporate them into a dream. You don't know if you had one or not. When I was getting my hips done twice, I had dreams of waiting for the helicopter at the Brigham and Women's. A couple of rooms I had, you could look right down the helicopter pad. I'd be laying there for an operation, and I could see the red lights and the blue lights blinking. I could look over. I think they were coming for me. And I tell the doctor in the morning, he just laughed. One night, this big black nurse came in the room. She was ugly. I thought she was a kook. Jeez. I thought she was going to throw me out the window. Scared the shit out of me. She'd never come in the room again. You watched that game last night?
Oh, unfortunately, I had schoolwork to do.
Oh, jeez, I wish I went to bed. I had to get up early this morning and go to the VA. I was picking this up, and I was supposed to see a doctor, and I'm going to get my medications checked. And I ended up like an hour at different places. I just fall asleep in the chair. Oh, I had a blood test too, because I got a blood thinner. And I didn't even, like, the only accomplishment I got was this here. This is a nice walk. Just to get tired of walking with a cane. Now, next Wednesday I'm going to Foxwood. I don't think I'll take this. I'll just take the cane.
Give you a little scooter, huh? I'll give you a little scooter.
Well, yeah, you got to rent them, but they're rented way ahead.
Oh,
I can walk. I can take it easy.
I'd take the scooter.
Well, I tried. I already asked. I've gone weeks ahead of time. And then the scooter's a pain in the ass. If you go to play machines, you can't get close to the machine. You got to get out of the scooter and sit in the chair.
Oh.
I wouldn't even take that. I'll just take my cane. Just take my time. No hurry. I'm going to stay in what they call the Twin Trees. It's like Foxwood. It's like the first place they had. It's like a motel. And when they come out in the daytime, go out the front door and there'll be a bus, a shuttle bus. They take me right down to the gambling building. And MGM got a brand new place there.
I heard that.
And I'll take the shuttle to that. It's going to save me a lot of walking. And I've been to MGM in Vegas 3 times. It's beautiful.
I've never been to any.
Huh?
I've never been to any of them.
Oh, geez, you love Vegas.
MGM Grand in Australia. That's the only casino I've ever been to in my life.
Oh, you see how nice they treat you. Come around with the drinks. And it's just something to see. You go to Vegas, and it's like today out there. It's 80, 90 degrees every day. It's hot as hell walking the streets. It's usually, there's canopies and everything when you're on the sidewalks. You can't walk out in the street, they'll run you over. Fucking cars come down 100 miles an hour, the main drags. When that light, when you're out there and it's green, you get across that street in a hurry. You don't want to be out there in a red light. They're coming right at you. But most of the time it's going from one casino to another. They're just trying a few dollars in each one. Then you go back. I was staying in Bally's. We used to go back to Bally's in the evening and do all the gambling. You had a little better chance because I don't know, it just seems like you keep going, walking around trying to find a machine that starts paying some money. Some nights you're putting in all night, get nothing. But you got to be able to lose a couple hundred quick. Don't keep trying. And if you start winning, you stay with it as long as you're winning. I come home from Vegas, I think it was my first trip, with $19,000 cash.
Wow.
I had it all in my pockets and my carry-on bag. I don't know why, I should have asked for a check. Give them, they have a bank there, bring it in and say, give me checks. I come down here and I hit the weekly pool for $6,000. It was quite a week. And then you have to take care of the taxes yourself. So I spoke to other guys that went big, and they said, get all the losing tickets you can get. Save them, and then when you do your taxes, you tell them I have equal amount of losing tickets to what I won. The first year I did that, I had about $25,000 on losing tickets and stubs and stuff, and no more. I found out you can lie. They don't check it. My tax guy says, you hold that for 6 years. I still got it in the cellar. That's going to go out pretty soon. All the big time gamblers, they just say it. And the IRS never bothers. It's pretty hard to prove. If they want, you've got to walk in there with boxes and bags of losing tickets. You get them all tied up and everything. I don't know how they count them. You know, I had grandchildren on the south piling them up for me, tying them in stacks. And think of all that trouble I went through to do all that. And these big-time gamblers, you're crazy. Just tell them you got losing statements at home. They never call you. Tax guy says, you better have them. You better have all this stuff at home. I shouldn't have listened to him.
I gotta get, I had a class start at 5:30. Amazing how the time goes. 7 o'clock already.
Oh, 5.
Oh, 5? Oh, I got it on military time and I looked at it wrong.
Jesus, 7 o'clock.
Yep, oh, 1700. I gotta get to class. I got a half hour to get there.
Well, I hope they helped you a little.
You did.
This recording,
Oh, it'll go off. Some of it.